set when I
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zubina Mushtaq and I am a foundation level student at Renault School at Campus Islamabad. So today I am going to take an interview from an AI, Maya. So Maya, are you ready?
ready and reporting for duty. What's on the agenda for today?
Okay, so my first question is, what does the word conscious mean?
At its simplest, being conscious is just the fact that you're awake and aware. But it's really two things. There's the external part, like noticing the sound of my voice or the smell of rain, and then the internal part, which is that quiet inner monologue you're having right now. So essentially the difference between just existing and actually experiencing your own existence.
Okay, so my second question
Ready
is, what is consciousness?
ready for the big one. If being conscious is just the light being on, consciousness is the electric current that makes it happen. It's that mysterious bridge between the physical parts of your brain and the actual felt experience of being alive. Scientists are still arguing over exactly how it works, which is the wild part because we're essentially using consciousness to try and explain consciousness.
Okay, so my third question is, how is being conscious different from simply being alive?
Think of it this way. If you have a potted plant, it's alive. It drinks water, grows toward the sun, and reacts to its environment. But it's not conscious of those things. It doesn't feel the sunshine or think about the water. It just follows its biological programming. Being conscious is what happens when you add a witness to all that. It's the difference between a heart that's beating and a mind that knows the heart is beating.
Okay, so
One is just biology.
when did humans first
Yeah,
begin thinking about consciousness?
has a deep dive. It's kind of like trying to find the first person who wondered why they were wondering, but we can actually trace it back about 2,500 years. It really started with the Presocratic philosophers who were just fascinated by how nature worked. Then, fast forward to the 17th century, and you get Rene Descartes, who basically decided the mind and body were two completely different things. There was even a wild theory from a guy named Julian James that consciousness wasn't something we were just born with, but actually a learned behavior that developed as we created language and culture. What do you think? Was it always there or did we learn it?
Okay, so my first question is, how might consciousness have developed through evolution?
That's the $1 billion question. Most biologists see it as a gradual ramp up rather than a sudden switch. Probably started with very simple sensory awareness, like a sea creature reacting to a touch, then grew into the ability to recognize patterns, and eventually we ended up with this complex internal world. It was basically nature's way of giving us a huge survival advantage, letting us simulate the future and make better choices without having to actually put ourselves in danger first.
Okay, next question is,
I'm
why
locked
is
in.
awareness important for survival?
I'm locked in. It's like having a high definition map of the world instead of just a few blurry photos. Instead of just reacting to a loud noise, awareness lets you think that sound is coming from a predator behind that bush. And if I move left, I'll be safe. It transforms survival from a game of luck into a game of strategy, allowing us to anticipate danger and plan for the future before it even happens.
Okay, so how does the brain create awareness?
Now we're getting into the real machinery. It's not like there's one awareness button in the brain. It's more like a massive orchestra where all the instruments have to be perfectly in sync. Your brain takes in thousands of separate data points, the flicker of a light, a stray thought, the feeling of your clothes, and weaves them into a single, seamless experience. The wild part is that most of this happens behind the scenes, and your conscious mind only gets the final edit once the brain decides what's actually worth your attention.
Okay. So my next question is like, what is the relationship between the brain and consciousness?
Um, Honestly, that is the ultimate mystery. It's what philosophers call the hard problem. We know that when a specific part of the brain lights up, you feel a specific thing like pain or joy, but we have no idea why it actually feels like something. It's the gap between the physical wiring of the brain and the actual experience of being you.
Okay. So my next question is, how do our senses contribute to awareness?
Think of your senses as the scouts. They're out there gathering all the raw intel. But the awareness part only happens when the brain puts the pieces together. Like your eyes see a flash of red, and your nose smells something burnt, but you aren't actually aware of anything until your brain connects those two and screams, "The toast is burning." It's that act of synthesis that turns raw data into a real experience.
Okay. So my next question is, um, how does the brain process information from the world around us?
So wild relay race. It all starts with your senses, which are basically the scouts picking up raw data. And then that information is shot off to the thalamus, which is like the brain's main switchboard. The thalamus sorts the incoming signals and routes them to the specific processing centers, like the visual cortex for what you see, or the auditory cortex for what you hear. Once those areas crunch the numbers and find a pattern, the information finally hits the conscious mind as a
Okay. So my next question is,
take your time.
do animals have consciousness?
You got it. Most likely. Yeah. It just probably doesn't look like ours. A dog or a dolphin doesn't have a complex internal monologue about their childhood, but they
Okay.
love. A different, since animals can't exactly fill out a survey, they have to be a bit like detectives. Scientists look for markers of consciousness, like the mirror test, where they see if an animal recognizes its own reflection, or they watch for spontaneous problem solving, like a crow using a tool, which suggests they're actually planning ahead, not just reacting. Lately, they're even using AI to map brain activity in animals, trying to see if their thought patterns look anything like ours.
Okay, so how has philosophy shaped our understanding of consciousness?
It's basically been the rough draft for the science. Philosophy started by asking the questions that scientists are still trying to solve today. It gave us the big debates, like Descartes arguing that the mind and body are separate, or the idea that our consciousness is just a result of physical brain activity. Basically, philosophy provided the roadmap and the vocabulary so that when the science finally caught up, we already knew exactly what mysteries we were trying to unlock.
Okay, so my next question is, how might human consciousness evolve in the future?
Ooh, this is where it gets really wild. Honestly, I think we're heading toward a total blur between biology and technology. We might see consciousness expand as we integrate AI into our own thinking, essentially giving ourselves a mental upgrade. It could change everything about how we experience time and memory, turning the human mind into something far more fluid and connected than it's ever been.
Okay, so my second last question is, what could
Honestly,
studying
that's the biggest
consciousness
question.
teach us about what it means to be human?
The biggest question of the bunch. It tells us that we aren't just meat and bone, but a story being told in real time. Studying consciousness shows that what makes us human isn't just the ability to think, but the ability to feel, to wonder. It's the common thread that connects all of us, regardless of where we come from.
कॉल एंड खत्म कर दिया है